at St. John the Baptist Catholic Church in beautiful Ammannsville, Texas on a windy afternoon. Thanks so much to Tricia Marty and Barbara Dixon for joining us here. And of course, as always, we've got H.H. Howe's Andy Balin, and on the Columbus Day holiday, Deacon Wick holding the new edition of the Fayette County Record, hot off the presses. Here's the first copy. Tricia and Barbara, there you go. Thanks so much for inviting us out. And y'all are the first to receive the big news of the day in the Fayette County Record. Before we talk about this beautiful painted church,
yes.
Pancho and Andy, y'all want to tell folks a little bit about some of the headlines they can find in the new copy of the paper?
Sure thing. Well, Jeff's got a big giant picture on the top of the front page of the circus that came to town over the weekend. They're washing off the elephant there, and then
a mammoth task.
It's impossible to have a small picture of an elephant.
Yeah. And then on Thursday, this poor lady over on Madison Street had a tree fell on her car. One of those old trees that kind of sticks out of the street a little ways in town. We also found out that the Monogram Monogram Food Solutions, the owner of the pet treat factory in Schulenburg, is not going to be closing after all. They're able to secure a new contract, and so it looks like those 98 employees over there are going to be able to stay in town, which is great news for Schulenburg. And then Schulenburg City Council is looking at some designs for the water tower. The water tower is undergoing some rehab work right now, new paint job, and they're looking at sprucing up the artwork on the water tower. So that's kind of what they're looking at right now. And
what's it going to be?
Well, they're looking at some blue bonnets, and one of these two designs on the name, the badge, the name across the front. Right now, it's pretty plain. It's just black letters, and it has the high school mascot on it, but it's pretty faded. So, looking at just a new design.
You could make it a Schulenburger.
I think they ought to put something on the water tower, home of the painted churches, because that is truly, kind of what put Schulenburg on the map. So why don't we turn our attention from the headlines to this beautiful painted church behind us, St. John the Baptist. Just kind of give us a few thoughts before we go inside about this wonderful church here.
All right. Well, this church is it's a white frame church, and you come up on it and you don't realize what's on the inside. And it's very plain on the outside, but you go in and it's going to be completely different. So why don't we come on in?
Yeah,
go
let's
on
go
in. This is St. John the Baptist Catholic Church. This church was built in 1918 and completed in 1919. And the architect and builder of this church was John Bunyak. And the painter was Fred Donecker and Sons. They were professional painters from San Antonio. And
the distinctive pink color, is there a story behind why they chose that?
I don't know. Well, some people call this church the Pepto-Bismol Church, but I think that is very wrong. It's a very soothing color. It's mauve. It's tranquil. It's relaxing. And I think it was part of the design of this church. The pinks and the greens, very pastel. You see all of the vines in here and all the curlicues, you see the Latin on the arch. That means my delight is with the children of men, and it's from Proverbs 8, and it's part of verse 31. And then inside the arch, you see a grapevine, and the grapevine is to remind you that he is the vine and the people are the branches. You see the white with gold altars. That is very Czech. Well, there's a little history about this church before this church was built. The first church for this community was built in 1890, and it was destroyed by a hurricane in 1909. They built their second church in 1910, and it was destroyed by a fire in 1917. So they had to build this church in 1919. And one thing, the fire in 1917 was supposed to have been so hot that it melted the bells. But some of the parishioners were able to come in and save some of the statuary.
Oh, really?
So some of this statuary is very old. It comes from their second church.
Wow, saved from the fire. Do you know which particular statues?
Yes, they saved our Mother of Grace on the far left. It's not our Mother of Grace, it's Our Lady of Grace. And then they saved our Mother of Sorrows in the middle on the left. They saved the Sacred Heart of Jesus on the pedestal on the right. And they saved Our Lady of Perpetual Help, the statue in the middle on the right. They saved St. John baptizing Jesus up on the main altar. They saved the two little angels on each side of the altar. And they saved the crucifix that we passed when we came in the entry. All those statues came from their second church. And would you like to know the other statues?
Oh, for sure, for sure.
All right, the other statues we'll go back to the left altar. That is, we see St. Anne and the Child Mary, and then we see St. Ludmilla. She was the wife of the first Christian king of Bohemia, and she is also the grandmother of St. Wenceslas. St. Wenceslas is up on the main altar on the left, and he is the patron saint of the Bohemian people. And then on the right, we see St. Martin. St. Martin has a goose by his feet.
Wow.
Yeah.
So with this church being built in 1917, is this the newest?
18.
1918. Is this the newest of the painted churches?
Yes,
then?
it is.
Wow, okay.
Yes, it is.
Has it
Yes.
undergone any sort of renovations like the others have?
Yes, it has. In 1989, Jean Mikulik did a lot of restoration in this church, like from the chair rail to the baseboard. It was dirty and it needed restoration, so he restored that, and you see he painted the faux panels over there. It's trompe-l'oeil, fool the eye. He restored that. He also
Also, that's just actually a flat
surface.
That's a flat surface.
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
It really is.
And he restored all the statuary, and in 1989, he also restored the staircase in the back. You see it's faux marble, and he restored that, and then the post at the bottom. Jean Mikulik had 3 sons, and so he got their baby pictures and he painted them as angels on that post. Each side has a picture of one of his sons as an angel.
Really?
That's the little angels down there.
Yeah, we'll have to walk back there and take a little
Yeah.
closer look at that as we talk more about the church. The stained glass windows.
Yes.
All parishioners at the time who donated, I imagine.
Yes.
And their names are there.
Yes, it's in check. The parishioners, it says who that they were donated by different people. And you notice these windows are very Tiffany-like windows. You notice you have the women saints on the left, and you have St. Catherine of Hungary, then you have St. Clare, you have the Sorrowful Mother and Jesus, and then you have St. Agnes of Bohemia, and she was a princess who became a nun, so you have her as a princess and as a nun. And then the last two people, women on the left, you're unable to see because of the choir loft, and that they are Saint Cecilia and Saint Agnes of Rome. You can see them from the outside. But now on the men's side, this is the men's side of the church, the right side, you have the men's saints. You have Saint Cyril and Methodius, you have Saint Peter and Saint Paul, and then you have Saints Matthew and Mark, and again you can only see the Saints Luke and John from the outside. Now years ago, the women sat on the left, the men sat on the right. The back of these pews tell you that. If you look at the pews on the right side, there are hat hooks. That is where the man put his hat. If you look on the back of the pews on the left side, there are no hat hooks. The women didn't need hat hooks because they kept their hats on.
And Barbara, you grew up in this church. Were you going to the church here when it was still separated like that, or no?
No. All right.
Do you have any memories, of going to this church in previous years, and what it was like?
Oh, we have more parishioners.
Really? Is it a small congregation now?
Yes.
How many families?
I think there's 500. And we had a choir too. And I believe there was an altar. Yes.
I don't know, that's before my time.
Notice also that the Stations of the Cross are written in Czech.
Yes, you see the check underneath each station. And these stations were imported from Europe. And I think the way these stations just blend in with this color of this. And you see the vine that goes all around this church on that edge. That is Fred Donecker's signature vine. Anything Fred Donecker painted, he had that vine in it that kind of came to a point. And there's a church not too far from here that was painted by Fred Donecker, and he has that vine in it. It's all over this church, but in that church, it's just in two little places.
What is that other church?
It's in Moravia. Then there's a little prayer card. I don't know if you see it on some of these hooks that used to be used for hats. That card, one of it is a prayer for rain, and then the other prayer card is a prayer they say after church, and they say it in English and in Czech. Everyone starts at the same time and everyone ends at the same time, but you will hear both languages.
So, Tricia, how long have you been giving these tours through the Schulenburg Chamber?
Gosh, over 10 years.
Wow, wow.
Yes, it's been a while.
And so I've imagined you've probably, given tours to people from all over the world.
Yes, I have. I've given a tour to some people from Germany and had to have an interpreter. I have also given tours to people who need sign language, to deaf people, and I've had an interpreter, a sign interpreter. So that's very neat. I get lots of tours.
I always think it's interesting to look through the guest book to see who's been here and the cities that they're from. It's real interesting.
It is.
Yeah, from all corners of the world coming here to tiny Ammannsville. It's truly remarkable. Of course, we should thank the Schulenburg Chamber, who is sponsoring this series of videos on these painted churches. And if you want to take a tour of these churches, the docents with the chamber do such a wonderful job, and a portion of the proceeds from the tour costs go back to support these rural parishes. So truly is a great experience, and also something so great gets done with that money. And we'll include the information with this video on if you're watching this, how to do that. And we got to highly recommend. After seeing all 4 of these churches now over the course of the past month, it's truly been amazing, and each one is so beautiful and so unique, and the expertise of these tour guides just makes them that much more beautiful.
And I think they all have their own story, and they're unique, like you said, most unique.
For sure. Well, all right. This guy is chomping at the bit. The elephant, the big photo of the elephant on the front. He's got an elephant joke for you.
What is the difference between elephants and grapes?
I don't know.
Grapes are purple. What did Tarzan say when he saw the elephants coming? Here come the elephants. What did Jane say when she saw the elephants coming? Here come the grapes. She was colorblind.
Very good. All right. Andy, you want to take us out?
Sure thing. Again, we're going to link to this. We're going to link to the Schulenburg Chamber in this video, so you can click on there and find out how to contact the chamber if you're interested in booking a tour of the painted churches. You can always find us at FayettecountyRecord.com, and we're on Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, and all these videos go to YouTube as well. Thanks so much for watching, and thanks for reading the paper.